students, I'm Sir Mark. Today, I'm going to discuss about Lesson 6, Code and Ethics of Media Information Literacy.
Okay, before we proceed to our lesson, I have a question. What is language? Possible nung na-raise ko yung questions, there's a lot of answer came from your mind. And it says here, it is the method of human communication, either spoken or written, consisting of the use of the word in a structured and conventional way. It is the system of communication used by a particular community or country. Ibig sabihin, every place or country ay may specialized or unique language na ginagamit to communicate or to convey the message or information, at isa tayo sa gumagawa nun. Media and information language means the technical and symbolic ingredients or codes and conventions the media and information professionals may select and use in an effort to communicate ideas, information, and knowledge. It means na meron silang guidance na sinusunod at pinag-iisipan nila yung mga bagay na sasabihin or gagawin nila before they share it to the public to get the interest of their audience na makakapanood or makakapakinig sa kanila. So, sino ba ang audience? Audience pertains to a group of spectators in a public event. The group of consumers for whom a media message was constructed as well as anyone else who is exposed to the message. To make the story short, tayo po yun. Diba minsan, pag nanonood tayo ng basketball, lalo na pag championship, lahat nagiging basketball analyst, kahit hindi naman talaga naglalaro ng basketball. Kasi na-convey sa atin yung message ng maayos na gustong iparating ng pinapanood natin as an audience.
Okay.
Next is stakeholder. A group of people or organizations that has the same interest or concern with a particular group. Sila yung mga taong part or kasapi ng isang industry na may iisang layunin lamang. For example, yung mga big media companies dito sa Pilipinas, hindi lang isa ang may-ari nito, kundi meron siyang mga kasosyo or mga kasapi sa pamamalakad nito na iisa lang ang kanilang interest. The audience of different media platform can also be deemed as a stakeholder. So ibig sabihin ng audience pwede ding maging stakeholder since they are direct beneficiaries of what the media produce. Producers regards the audience and the stakeholder as valued client or customer who patronize what they offer. Kaya useless yung bagay na gagawin ng isang producer kung walang tumatangkilik nito at malulugi lang siya. And the producers of media has two parts, the author and the journalist. They deliver news and other information to the readers, may it be on print or via internet. Editors collaborate with them to ensure that the material is well organized and free from content or grammatical error. So yung mga nababasa natin sa mga magazine and newspaper, bago nila ito i-publish ay chinecheck nila ang bawat detalye ng nakasulat dito. Dahil kung hindi nila ito susuriin ng maayos at may maling nabasa ang mga tao, ay pwede silang balikan. At worst comes to worst, ay pwede silang kasuhan or madimanda sa maling detalye na kanilang nailagay. And in broadcast media includes the TV, radio, and films. Directors create films, TV programs, and radio shows, and work alongside talents or performers so that they could provide viewers with quality shows. This three broadcast media is a big contributor in media and information, especially nung hindi pa ganun ka-establish yung mga technology na meron ngayon. Sila yung naging part ng buhay ng ating mga magulang at naging way para mas matuklasan pa ang ibang mga bagay. The guidelines for media producers. After World War II, the publisher of Time and Life magazine, Henry Luce, requested to the president of the University of Chicago, Robert Hutchins, to form a commission what would set the proper functions of the media in a new era of democracy. The reason why the commission created, kasi during that time, Mr. Henry Luce found out that the freedom of the press are in danger. Kumbaga, nagiging limited yung expression ng mga media to convey their message to the public. And at some point, you are able to use the machinery of the press as the instrument of mass communication. Based on the recommendation from the 1947 Hutchins Commission, guidelines for journalists and broadcasters were set so that they would have accountability on their professions. The 1947 Hutchins Commission became known as the Commission on the Freedom of the Press until now. They have 5 guidelines on Commission on Freedom of the Press. First, as professionals, they have an obligation to society to use their freedom of expression responsibly. They should not abuse this freedom or use this power for exploitation or self-interest. Second, they should prioritize the welfare of the society over their careers. Third, they should present news that is accurate, objective, and meaningful. Fourth, they should express unbiased point of view, comments, and criticisms. Fifth, they should present marginalized people like the minority groups. To make this story short, the guidelines on Commission on Freedom of the Press, dapat ang priority nila is the society at hindi sa pangsarili nilang interes.
Excuse me po.
Next is the Code of Ethics for Media Producers. Codes pertain to a set of standards, principles, and policies that practitioners of particular sector should observe. Ethics, on the other hand, is a set of values observed by an individual based on grounded principles. Ito yung kailangan sundin ng mga producers every time nagagawa sila ng mga segments or palabas. At the same time, they should check din yung mga kanilang subordinate if they are following well yung mga guidelines as an individual during the set. And the SPJ Code of Ethics, the member of the Society of Professional Journalists, believe that justice and democracy are important for the public enlightenment. So, yung Society of Professional Journalists, they consist ng mga newscasters sa TV, sa radio, even yung mga authors sa mga newspaper. The SPJ has their code and ethics for media providers and producers. First, seek truth and report it. Journalists should be honest, fair and courageous in gathering, reporting, and interpreting information. Ibig sabihin, the journalists take responsibility for the accuracy of their work. They must verify information before releasing it and use original sources whenever possible. Second is minimize harm. Ethical journalists treat sources, subject, and colleagues as human beings deserving of respect. For example, sa isang kaso, they must balance the suspect right to fair trial with the public right to know. Kung nanonood tayo ng mga news, di ba may mga suspect na hinuhuli at binabasahan sila ng Miranda rights na may karapatan silang manahimik or kumuha ng kanilang abogado. Third, act independently. Journalists should be free of obligation to any interest other than the public right to know. So the SPJ must avoid the conflict of interest and disclose unavoidable conflicts. Fourth, be accountable and transparent. Journalists are accountable to their readers, listeners, viewers, and each other. They must acknowledge mistakes and correct them promptly, explain corrections and clarification carefully and clearly para hindi magkaroon ng confusion yung mga audience na manunood sa kanila.
Paano masabi?
So why the guidelines is important? This will remind practitioners about their responsibilities and they would also know what is expected to them to deliver. Ibig sabihin, part na ng buhay nila ang mga guidelines at dapat nila itong sundin bilang mga professional. Media is a very powerful tool for communications. Since it can send information instantly, therefore it can be subjected to misuse. Code and guidelines serve as vanguard to protect its stakeholder from abuse. For example, ngayon naglalabasan yung mga news. So hindi na natin alam kung sino yung tama at kung sino yung fake news. So ibig sabihin, every news na nakikita natin, pwede niyang baguhin yung pananaw o desisyon ng isang tao. E paano kung maling balita yung na-convey sa kanyang message? Kaya nga importante na merong code and guidelines para maprotektahan yung bawat nakikinig or nanonood nito. The media legislation and regulation. As a democratic country, Article 3 of the 1987 Constitution bestows to Filipino citizens the Bill of Rights. Some laws require just payment for the use of media platform and the proper acknowledgement of ownership. Penalties or fines are also given for the abuse and misuse of media information. So the purpose of this is for the protections of every individual and the ownership o yung copyright nga na tinatawag nila. And as we dig deep to this subject, mas maiintindihan natin yung mga bagay na yan. Evaluations of messages from media producers based on the codes and conventions. Codes can create a system wherein media provides and producers offer platforms that are sensible and meaningful. Dahil kung wala silang pattern na susundin, possible magkaroon sila ng kanya-kanya nilang perceptions or paniniwala na possible tama sa isa at mali naman sa isa. So ang ending nito is magulo dahil sila mismo ay hindi nagkakaintindihan. Effects of media to its audience and the stakeholders. Psychologists claim that the media can influence a child's behavior in various ways. For instance, children can learn violence and aggressions from what they see on television. Many other studies show both positive and negative influences of media to its users. That's why bago mag-start ang isang palabas sa TV, meron munang MTRCB na lumalabas, na minsan ang sinasabi patnubay ng magulang ay kailangan, na ibig sabihin para ma-aware yung parents sa mga mapapanood na kanilang mga anak at the same time masusubaybayan nila ito sa kanilang panunood.
That's all for today. I hope that you learned something. See you on the next lesson. Bye!
Happy learning at home with lessons made easy by Olivarian GoTeach. One proud Olivarians.